Hello, hey everybody, and welcome to the final regular Thursday sprints before the end of the month and before the end of this readathon. We will definitely still have sprints on Tuesday, Monday to round off the readathon. I still need to schedule them though, so if you've been looking for them, I haven't scheduled them in yet, but I will. But so, one final regular Thursday sprint block to kind of try and get some more productivity going for our reading month, I guess. As you can see, I'm reading a book with a very long title, The Short History of Spaghetti with Tomato Sauce. This is why I've been saying that I've really been loving this month because I've been picking up some really, really random stuff. I mean, this book was on my want to read list. I haven't picked up anything that wasn't on my want to read list, I think. But, it was the type of book that who knows if I would have ever actually read if it weren't for this particular challenge. Like, even if it were, even with the prompts, that's for the prompt, like a book that makes you feel hungry. I had like five choices or something, and the only reason why I chose this one is because of the length. So, like, who knows when I would have picked it up. But so, yeah, let's see how I feel about it. This was me arriving to sprints because, like, I was sitting down here about half an hour before sprints and like feeling like, oh my god, I'm actually super tired. And how am I gonna make it through? So who knows? Maybe I'll just fall asleep at some point. Coffee needs someone. Well, better be me that it needs coffee before bedtime. Yeah, I mean, I don't think I have many issues with falling asleep after coffee. We'll see, I guess. No, now I'm craving coffee too. Join me. Hello. Hey. Ahoy there. Yes, for more sprints on Monday to get more squares filled on the board. Yeah, I will normally just schedule it in on my normal time, so at 7 o'clock. They will also be like crossover sprints to some extent because it is also the start of Camp Enchanted, and so for that one, I am also co-host for that week-long readathon, and so we will also be welcoming some people from Camp Enchanted at that point in time. So I will be doing sprints for both to some extent in that case. But yeah, I'm not staying until midnight. I don't think so. Like. I do have the next day off, so potentially I will do it, but probably not because I would get too tired, I think. I'm on my hammock and I just started a new book. Can you guess what it might be? I'm not sure it's likely to make me hungry. Well, tender is the flesh. Finally it's happening. Hello Nadim, good evening. I will definitely take a Monday sprints. Yay. Camp GameNightAthon it is. Yes. The ultimate crossover. Well, what are you guys reading and what prompt are you guys waiting? Yeah, I think I got the title right. Yeah, because I've been so focused on my thing that I'm just like not prepared for that particular readathon because I do have responsibilities as a host for it, and I'm like completely like focusing on my things thing. Yeah, it's Camp Enchanted, I was right. So it's like it's a readathon, but it's more than just that because it's basically just like going to camp, and both in reading but also in other activities you can earn badges. And so the idea is kind of to just like earn as many badges as possible. And you have like badges that are related to doing arts and crafts, you have badges related to reading, you have badges related to like nature, like I don't know, planting things and stuff like that. So like there's badges for gaming, I think, as well. For example, there's a movie night, I think. So it's just a little bit more broad than just a readathon. I am the co-host who's responsible for like the story side of things. So if you fulfill one of the story prompts, then I will give you your badge. Hello, might do some reading. Nice. I'm gonna read Ada's room first, reading it for the blue friend reg. Nice. The concierge of cannibalism has correctly guessed my current book. Yes. Like, any hints? Are you like, did you just start? Or like, what are your thoughts so far? I'm still listening to Human Acts, might finish today. Also got some book mail today. We love book mail. And like, yeah, good luck with Human Acts. I kind of feel like towards the end it's less impactful, but I might just misremembering. I kind of feel like the end section is more about like um, censorship and less about the actual events that took place there, but I'm not entirely sure anymore. That is why I have only been doing my own readathon instead of game night. We need to focus on our own thingies. Yeah, I've also not done anything for your readathon because I've indeed been too focused on my own one. Hey Judith. In this week, I've been reading It Ends With Us by Colleen Hoover. Nice. Hello, everyone. Just got home. Hey, Chadia. This is way, way outside my comfort zone here. It immediately made me, yeah, I can understand. Like, I know that Denise, for example, said that she didn't really find it to be that impactful because it's like written in such a distant way. Like, it's not like I don't know, the way that Stephen King would write a book like this. Stephen King would put you really into the action and like describe it and all the horror and like have it happen to one of the characters and stuff like that. So it's more distant in a way, but I found that to be much more creepy because I can kind of see that's happening. Ninth House is my current read. We'll read to either page 355 or 369 before I go to bed because of work tomorrow. Currently on 316. Nice. Yeah, I think I have like my Kindle estimates that I have an hour left of a short history of spaghetti with tomato sauce, and then I also am listening to Schwet, for which I still have 3 hours to listen to. So today I should get some progress in both of these, but I will definitely not be finishing either one of them. That will be for tomorrow, so that on Saturday I can start with my own choices, trying to fill as much of this board up in the 3 remaining days I have at that point in time. I do have holidays from now until like I will return to work on the 2nd of August. So up until the end of the readathon and like the first day after, I do have all to myself. So perfect. I've just started and I'm a little over 30 pages in. It starts off with the speculative ideas from the from the first few pages. I will keep the tracker open for like a week after so you can see if any of your books fit the prompts after the month is over. Oh yeah, nice. Yeah, I can definitely check it out. I'm going to be starting Mimicking of Known Successes by Malka Older for the Red Mood read prompt. Nice. I will continue the mostly true story of Jack and make dinner. Nice. There's so many stuff here that's like super random and I have no idea about, but that's what this readathon encourages clearly. I'm not the only one who's just like picking up the most random stuff that is on my want to read list. I have to admit I'm going in with a good side order of trepidation. You have to. I would love to complete mine, but that is very ambitious. Yeah. There are some who have. I'm definitely not getting there. I think like I'll be able to fill up half of the board, I guess, because I'm somewhere in the 40 squares, I think, somewhere around there that I filled up out of the 105. Yeah, it's just me. I cannot speak clearly. Every single reading sprint, I'm like, why do I do sprints? I clearly cannot speak. But um, yeah, how is it looking for you guys for the final days? For me, I yesterday or this morning I spent quite a lot of time kind of strategically thinking of what I was going to do for those last 3 days when I have all of the choices left. But I'm in a really stupid part of the prompts board, it seems like, because like the prompts really aren't working for me at all when I was like, okay, I need a prompt in that color. Okay, I have to go for this one because none of the other ones would work. So I have to choose that prompt, I have to choose that color for that prompt. And I'm like, okay, but in that same line, there are other prompts that I want for the other colors, and then the other prompts that I have possible for those colors don't work. So I had to abandon certain ideas about like, maybe I could do this, and then be like, no, none of those prompts work for me. But so, yeah, we'll have to see. It's a lot of strategic thinking, also because I realized that you can start Magical Read It on 3 days early, which I didn't think about. So now I have to look if any of those books can cross over into Magical Readathon. But so time for a first 40-minute sprint. And yeah, I will be drinking coffee and trying not to think about eating spaghetti. Managed not to fall asleep. Where did I go? Okay, I'm back. How did you guys do? I am 52% in. Not as far as I thought, and like basically my Kindle didn't know my speed yet apparently because it is still over an hour now, so it was like almost 2 hours at the point at which I started the sprints. So not as far as I thought I was. But it should still be no problem for finishing this and the other thing tomorrow, especially since the other thing is audio, so should fly through that more quickly. Mm, wait. Um, I'm racing to the best I can on the board, about 50%. Nice. Have to read about 100 pages each day. Nice. Very prompt bound right now. Yeah. Finished Inazuma 11 yesterday and now I don't know what to do. I am splitting carefully between Kindle at night in bed and paperback in a hammock. I have been pre-planning a lot, especially because there are other readathons I wanted to compete as well. Yeah. I mean, I'm really focusing on this one at the moment, so that makes it a little bit more easier. But then towards the end of the month, it will be more difficult, as I just said. But like in principle, combining readathons is like the worst. Almost 50% of the board is done. Tomorrow I'll add 2 short books to make some progress. Saturday is a work/board game day, so no reading. Sunday would be very much 24 hours reading to get to 75%. Nice. Wait, does that mean at least one day of Camp Magical Game Night and TC-athon crossover? Would be impressive if you could find a book to fit all. Yeah, exactly. Like, there's definitely a book that is like I was only going to read like 200, maybe 300 pages of it, and then the rest would be for Magical Readathon. So that book is already like a crossover. But I did put like 5 books. I think 5, right? 4 full books and then that one onto my 3-day TBR. And so there are 4 other books that could potentially be used as a crossover, which would actually be nice for my August TBR because my August TBR is very, very overwhelming at this point in time. Hello, Jill. I was late, but wanted to mention that my total is wrong. I accidentally claimed column A twice. Oh, that's so sad because were the new you were in the leads. So you were in the lead because of an error. Oh, that's sad. Because I was like, ooh, a new like what I want to call it, ruler, ruler of the board. That's yeah, indeed. You have too many points there. Let's change that for a second so that I can share. I can cat. So, Jill, yep, columns. Yeah, and now it's like kind of blocking me for a second because it's worse. Come on, you can move. No, don't move that far, Jesus. I hope that I am actually still visible. Okay, so I'm just gonna remove. Come on. I'll just remove this A. Right. Hide this page again. Yeah. Okay. Should be correct. And you are no longer in the lead, unfortunately, as a consequence. Hey, Rob. Late as always. That's like, a wizard is never late. He arrives precisely when he needs to. Hello! Excited to be here. Sadly, only on book 7, Prompt Yellow. However, thoroughly enjoying it. Reading The Unhoneymooners by Christina Lauren. Nice. I mean, prompt 7 in any other months, like 7 is kind of what I expect to be the amount of books that I get to in a month. And that's not even a given. There are months in which I read less than that, but 7 is more or less my average, I assume. So it's not only on. Comfortable cat climbs off. Yeah, I like she was kind of sitting on my foot before that, and so I moved my foot like in the last 2 minutes before the sprint was over, and then she came over, and I was like, I'm gonna have to push you off really quickly. Like, but yeah, sure, come on. Read a bit. I did better in my pre-sprint session. I turned a few more pages before deciding that I needed to make dinner. Nice. 28 pages read, so after or during the next sprint, I'll reach my goal for tonight. Nice. Whoop. Made dinner while continuing the audiobook. Nice. 21 pages of mimicking of known successes. I paused to update a database in the middle of reading. I'm always saying nice, so now I'm just so conscious of the fact that I constantly say nice that now I'm like, don't say nice. Past the 100 page mark, but I think I'm tired of literary fiction. I've read so much of it this year. Yeah, nice. There we go. I have not been reading a ton of literary fiction, or at least it feels like that to me. Haven't actually looked at the numbers or anything like that, but like I used to read a lot more literary fiction. Then I got back into fantasy, basically around the time that I started this booktube channel. Though not really. I think like more like the last year and a half, 2 years maybe. And now sometimes I'm like, where is that literary fiction? Why am I so out of the literary fiction scene? Finished my dinner, ate a lot of food. But that's nice. That's always the best. Damn, I had the tab muted. Ah, it wasn't me for once. Hey, Jess. I've been updating my reading challenge for GameNightAthon in the story graph with one plan, then realized I needed an alternative arrangement, hence Tender is the Flesh compound from book 11 to 14. Yeah. I ate a toasty and I started One Piece volume 95. I have it planned up to 16 prompts now, but it's getting very, very tight. Yeah, definitely for like my ideal plan now, it's also like I think I have like 5 books written down, but like one of them is also like the if I get there sort of book. Um, but yeah, the 4 would definitely be, or maybe it's just 3 that I definitely need, right? No, it's 4. No, it's 3. Yeah, because I'm gonna use like the yellow prompt you guys gave me. It was originally going to be used for one cluster, but I'm moving that cluster because there's no way that I can fit yellow face into my reading month anymore because of the fact that I just don't have a prompt for it anymore. There's no prompt that fits this book anymore that I'm coming up to. So I had to abandon yellow face, and so the cluster that I had been saving for yellow face I'm going to use now because it can hopefully gain me a lot of column points if I read what I'm supposed to read still. Read 15 pages in a very boring paper comparing different scales for measuring parasocial experiences. It's not fun. We appreciate the sacrifice. Frankly, the weather is not helping as it's minimizing hammock time. I simply don't read well sat indoors. Much better outside. I mean, if I had a hammock, maybe as well, but I do have like a sofa as well outside here on my balcony, so it's not like I don't have a nice environment for reading outside. But if I had a hammock, I would probably also prefer reading outside. My graph of books or pages read each month on the story graph has shot up for July. Can't think why that would be. Mine is not at the top yet. My top one is April so far, which is Magical Readathon, the first rounds for this year, which makes sense because I had to read a ton for that. But I think that by the end of the month, definitely the amount of books will be over Magical Readathon. We'll see whether I get there in terms of pages because I do think I still have like 700 pages to go in order to catch up to that. I'm wondering if I've peaked for the year this month or if I will be able to maintain my my momentum for the next couple of months. Well, short books, that's what creates this, or at least for me. If I read a lot of short books, I can get so much more into the month than even if I try to read the same amount of pages in long books as I do in short books, it takes me longer. Hello, I made food and read 5 pages of One Dark Window. Yeah, I was wondering whether I was misreading. 4 books is a good target for me typically, but the focus on shorter books has made a huge difference. Noise is a nice. I'll do that. Nice noise, nice noise. Saw the thumbnail for your Martian episode and I went, oh no, haven't got to it yet. I'm a couple of days behind. Well, on tomorrow evening, I think oh yeah, I still need to make a thumbnail for it. Tomorrow evening, the next vlog is coming out. I'm gonna do all my vlogs in super rapid succession. So that's basically before the next live show. You will know where I was at before my 3 day on my own reading time. But so tomorrow, no, yeah, tomorrow evening, the other vlog is coming out, and that's like the continuation to my The Martian rant. I think I rant more about The Martian in that vlog than I did in the first one. My current Kindle pick is interesting. Kindle says it's 204 pages, but the paperback says it's 284 pages. Unfortunately, it's not on the Kindle store anymore for some reason, so struggling to what? Detective? Spy? What is that what is that emoji? So I'm so mad I couldn't work out a way to use yellow face on yellow squares. Yeah, I could probably use yellow face on not yellow squares, right? Probably because I am using the people on cover prompt, that also feels a bit wrong for yellow face, but it is a face, you know. It's just like super minimalistic, of course, but like nobody's gonna say that that is not a person. That those. So maybe I could do it. Maybe I could swap that book. But on the other hand, the book that I'm gonna choose for that is like a book on my TBR, so like on my physical TBR. So I kind of prefer that. I have a conundrum for August. Do I try to catch up on the Realm of the Elderlings read along that I've fallen behind on, or focus on Indie August like I did last year? Indie August gets my votes. Take a little bit of a break from that Elderling read along. I have an ambitious TBR for August. There are so many books I want to read. Yeah, my August TBR is like my August TBR isn't even full yet because there are certain prompts for Magical Readathon that I am keeping open or that I need to like do if I'm gonna film a video for it, which I think I'll probably try to film a TBR for it tomorrow. And so one of those prompts is like the tarot card one. So that's I still need to film. And now I'm nervous about a Martian rant. I loved it. Yeah. I don't even think that I go for the like diplomatic route of saying like I totally understand if you do like this. I don't think that I ever say that. I just break down the book. I'm sorry. Detective emoji indicates doing detective work to figure out facts. So it was a detective. The Secret Sauce of Storycraft did an episode on moon-based sci-fi stories, which included one of my long-term favorites, and she loved it. So it's a delight. It's always nice when people are reading books that you absolutely love, and they also love them. If they then break them down, as I will do for The Martian, then that's something else. If I take a break from the Elderlings read-alongs, I shall never catch up. I feel bad that I failed to keep up. I mean, but how realistic is it that you are going to catch up? Because you were trying to catch up for a while, right? And it wasn't really working. You were like managing to avoid the gap getting bigger and bigger, maybe, but like I feel like that would be just like so stressful or like just like give me so much anxiety if I were in that situation where I just feel like I'm falling more and more behind or where I can never catch up or I'm constantly saying I'll catch up but I don't. So that it would be more healthy in my particular circumstance if I was in your case to just be like, okay, I'll just take it slow and do it at my own pace. August TBR is 1,000 plus page books plus Winnowing Flame trilogy if the buddy readers are okay with that speed. Wait, you're reading the entire trilogy? I thought you guys were just gonna read like the first one. The first one, I don't think I can fit it into my August TBR. I have not put it there at this point in time. I don't think it will spontaneously happen, but I was gonna do it. But yeah, I really don't think I have place for it in that TBR. I must also confess some of the picks I've made for GameNightAthon have been less than perfect picks. I've chosen them to fit rather than because I wanted to read them. Hmm. Yeah, that also happens, of course. Like, I have books that haven't been as great experiences, definitely, but like all of them have definitely been like books that I've been wanting to read. Definitely, as I said, for this one, for example, it's a book that I would not have picked up in like, it would have been one that probably in a few years I would have been like, you know what, why is it even there? Let me just remove it. But I have been enjoying that sort of experiment of just like having trying books that aren't like the highest priority and like seeing my experiences with those. Some of them have been stingers. If I fall off and do it at my own pace, I will stop reading them and space them out like a trilogy every year. I feel like I made a commitment, but it does cause anxiety. I mean, that's basically what I will most likely be doing. You know, I reread, I did the first one, Farseer trilogy, last year, and then now I'm doing Live Ship. And while originally the idea was that potentially I could do more within the year, because Ship of Destiny has already fallen behind and I'll only read it in August, I don't think I'll fit another one of these Robin Hobb trilogies into this year. So the next trilogy will just be for the year after that, 2024. Helene already read book one, so wanted to continue with book two during August, if I remember correctly. Otherwise, it's just book one in August. How many pages is that TBR? Sounds big indeed. This game helped me get through some freebies, both finishing and DNFing, which is good either way. That's also nice. I have, oh, that could be a nice idea for maybe like the December rounds, for me to then tackle my arcs, because I still have some NetGalley arcs, 7 or so, I think, that I'm late for. Some even by years, and that I should really like get rid of so that my slate is clean. 3,000 pages or something like that, which in principle isn't even that bad considering this month, for example. This I am at 3,000 pages, but most months I'm not. I'm under 3,000, so that's a lot. Speaking of anxiety, I was having to explain my social anxiety to a pal at work yesterday. Yeah, I think like because you're not going into the office a lot, right? I hope that they're not giving you a hard time to for that. Less than 100 pages a day. Right, but only just. I have to really focus to get up to 100 pages a day. My reading graph on the story graph suggests I'm more like 50 pages a day, but I've got it closer to 100 for July. But I'm slipping back to about 75. 100 is definitely doable for me, even with the restriction of reading maximum 2 hours a day. But I am also doing like I'm adding the commute to that and not Crime and Punishment, War and Peace, which does not count into that period of time. So I am like actually reading more than 2 hours a day. So I can get to 100. I don't always get to 100. But I definitely can get to it. But like in the past, I would see the 100 as sort of like the benchmark. I needed to get there in order to have like a productive day, and that has definitely disappeared. But definitely the week in which I was reading The Martian saw my average a day really tank. Oh, I'm ducking and diving, swerving and shifting to avoid going to office sessions. I survived a management beauty parade. Beauty parade. But some management types love, 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 love their meetings. Harumph. Oh yeah, but we still have a lot of our meetings online as well. Also kind of depends because we have like two locations as well. So then like some of them are in a different office than the others. So that also like since COVID pushes online meetings more. Before that, there was more of the sort of like idea of like moving to the office where the meeting was being held, but now it's more acceptable and more frequently done to then just like be online for it. Need to start Aragon and the Wolf, and I want to reread Malice, and I want to be caught up with One Piece and reread the first few arcs before the One Piece live action. Nice. Not just catching up, but even rereading some of it. I mean, since it is over 100 volumes, I guess some of those first details from the very first ones will be lost in me. But so let's get back to this in 40 minutes. Good luck reading, guys, and see you in 40. How did we all do? I unexpectedly finished my book because my book finished at 70% of the ebook because all the rest were like notes. So, yeah, I'm still counting it. I would also count it in my page count if there's like a glossary at the end and stuff like that, because that's the only way to do it in Storygraph. You count the whole edition or you don't count it. So I'm still counting it, but it was like all of a sudden I like pressed next page and it had like a sort of like publicity for some sort of a book subscription service, and I was like, that's weird. Why is that like in the middle of my book? And then I pressed like the next page and was like, wait, is it over? Was that the end of this? So I did not see that coming. Um, that's nice. I also listened a little bit to a few pages of Schwet, which I'm really enjoying a lot. I am a bit wary though because I know that Paramita started it because I was reading it and it sounded interesting to her, and then she was like a little bit disappointed with it by the end. So I'm hoping I'll have a better time with it. Eh, think I was here. Meetings are colossally disruptive. I've taken to joining them camera off so I can just carry on with whatever I'm working on while they waffle away. Yeah, I mean, we definitely also most of the time do that unless it's like a one on one. Not a lot of things, yeah. Very short list, yeah. I did rewatch those arcs multiple times, so I don't really need to reread, but I just want to. Yeah, I mean, if you want to, definitely do. It's hey, kitty. No worries. You can still sprint with us one more time, and you were there like you still had like I don't know more than half of the sprint I think left. So Spanel's delicacy, the special meat, yes. Definitely not one of the for the books that make you hungry prompts. There are people that do so and who eat their domestic heads alive part by part. Yeah. Trigger warning to anybody watching if you know what we're talking about. Reached my I don't know why, but when I watched when I saw this comment in this the preview for this comments on like the smaller part on the side, I read that as papagaai instead of page goal. So I was like, why did he not translate that words? Yeah. It's getting late, guys. I'm reading my page goal. It's way too tempting to continue, but I need to think about being awake enough to work tomorrow. So have fun reading, everyone, and hopefully till Monday or in Discord. Have fun. Get a good night's sleep, and the weekend is almost there. I mean, unless you're working the weekends, in which case I'm sorry. The guest cat has just arrived, and I have a bowl of dinner in my hand, so that it is very interested in. Yeah, I know that feeling. I also for lunch the last 2 days because I've been working from home exceptionally for the last 2 days, waiting for a parcel. And I've been so my lunch the last 2 days has been kind of like pasta with pesto and some anchovies, and there's been a lot of interest in those particular ones. Oh, jump. Only 10 minutes of my audiobook left. Nice. I mean, it's a bit of a difficult book, but still. Caught up on all the chatty bits and read 5 pages. Nice. See, I'm doing it again. Noise. I hate that. I always try to check for extras at the end so I won't be surprised. Yeah, I guess I should have, but like with ebooks, I don't really tend to do it. So it's not the first time where a book has surprised me like that, where like sometimes, it will have like a huge chunk of the next book included in it, and then you're like, oh wait, it's done. Of course I didn't do that for my current reads. Checking, you mean? Read 32 pages. Hello. Joining for the last sprints. I will be reading Bodies of Water for the water prompts, I'm assuming. I'm not liking my book, but I will power through. Yeah, that's kind of what I had with the short history of spaghetti with tomato sauce. I mean, it's not like I disliked it in this case. It's just that, like, yeah, it was a lot drier. I was hoping that it was going to be a little bit more like, I don't know, entertaining. I was assuming that there was going to be like some entertaining anecdotes about spaghetti, which there weren't. But I mean, it was still interesting because it kind of went through like the history of spaghetti, of pasta, of how it became such a cultural elements to Italian cuisine, how it became the sort of like embodiment of Italian cuisine, but then also looking at like every single ingredient and when it kind of got added to what we now know as spaghetti bolognese. Because, for example, olive oil, I think it was that was only like added to the preparations for the sauce at like the second half of the 20th century, for example. So a very recent addition to what's we consider sort of like a traditional, meal. Just read about a study asking people for their imagined romantic interaction with Alex Jones of Infowars. Talk about truly dark academia. I don't know this Infowars thing. I got to a 100-page mark of my book, moving right along, hoping to get to the halfway mark before I'm hurled into nighttime festivities. Festivities? My doggy needs a walk. I might be back before the sprint ends. Nice, give him that walk. What is it about cannibalism that appeals so much to you? Serious question, actually. What pulls you into the genre? Oh, I don't know. I don't necessarily think like it's like I'm not like necessarily looking for it, though I now have that reputation because I did that one vlog. But it is like I do like reading about it, I guess. Like, not that sounds weird, but like I'm not really reading about it doesn't like turn me away from the subject or anything like that. I find it a fascinating concept to look into. Maybe I should just blame my like primary school who made us watch the movie Alive when we were in primary school, in which a group of guys have like their plane gets crashes somewhere where it's extremely cold and they have to survive, and part of what they do to survive is cannibalism. So I will maybe blame them for at an early age arousing my interest in cannibalism. Ah, shit. I also don't like my book. It puts me to sleep. I am now halfway through. Will it take another week to finish it? Yeah, I had one that I was reading, Arbor Reality. That one I DNF'd after 50 pages because I was like, no, I cannot deal with it. Even if it's only 100 pages, I cannot push through. I mean, if somebody says space opera, I'd be like, where? And I get all excited, but I have an opposing sensation with stuff like this. Yeah, I don't know what the fascination is, but when somebody says it has cannibalism in it, I might be like, interesting. I always like to see like the exploration of what drives people to it, you know, or what it does to people. Yep, for the water setting, second time I have that prompt, I read Skin of the Sea for the first. Infowars, right wing conservative pundit bullshit. I actually have a BS folder in my professional mailbox that, in case anybody asks, means business service, but actually means bullshit. To be honest, cozy and romance play a similar opposing force to me like horror and cannibalism is managing. Alex Jones is a right-wing conspiracy guy talking about gay frogs and how school shootings are fake. Really? Having to pay insane money for that latter one too. Don't look him up. Yeah, okay, I won't. I reckon you must have had the cannibalism prompt in mind from very early on. No, actually not. It was suggested to me. I didn't have the cannibalism prompt in there because I was keeping most of my prompts relatively vague. But then I don't remember which Discord it was, and I don't remember who suggested it in the end. But it was suggested to put cannibalism in there, and then I was like, exactly, let's do it. Yes, it is based on a true story. I mean, it's been since primary school, so I don't really know whether it was football players, but it was based on a true story. Yes. The only thing that keeps me going right now is that I'm also in the middle of two romances, which I cannot wait to finish. But that's nice. You can kind of like switch it out, do a few pages of the one that you're struggling with, and then switch over to the others. I have my pages carefully calculated out for the remainder of the game nightathon, but if there's just a wee bit of room left over, I have a 58-page ebook to fill a single space. It looks a dreadful book. I have a few one space clusters that I still want to tackle in the last few days of the month, so I'm also going for a few of those very, very short ones, which is nice because I have a few of those very, very short ones that have been on my one to read list for years, so I'm happy to tackle some of those. But we definitely should also wait. I'm going to answer this question first. So this was also asked today in the Discord. I had originally given a different answer, but for people in the I think America time zone, it is probably best to give it a little bit more long time. So you have until midnight the next day. So you can read until midnight. The transition between 31st of July and 1st of August. When it hits 1st of August, you stop reading, but you can log until midnight from the transition of the 1st of August to the 2nd of August. I do have timestamps on the spreadsheet, so I can see if you log too late. I associated cannibalism with yourself as I do space opera back to myself because I still have to log everything. Well, you have one extra day to do it, but I mean, if you want, you can wait until that last minute. But so I was going to share because we still need to look at the current situation. So let's share this instead. You guys should be seeing the yes, you are seeing the spreadsheet. So let's open up the yeah, okay, I do have access to it here. For a second, I thought I was on my wrong account again and you guys weren't going to be able to see it. But so in total now, we have read 617 books, which I'm very, very happy with that number. As I think it's the same number as last week, right? 42 total players, but there are 2 extra parameters in there. So 40, maybe that is one more, right? In total, we have read 185,250 pages. Very nicely done, guys. I think we can get that to 200,000 before the end of the month, right? Average score is 74. One thing has been true. I've been beneath that average score the entire month long, but that's fine. Highest score of 201, which is the same as last week. We haven't gotten a new leader in the meantime. I thought for a second we did, but unfortunately it wasn't the case. Average spaces filled are 55, so half of the board more or less on average, and maximum space is 105. I think I checked before the live show, and 7 people, I think 7, had managed to completely fill the board, though I think that also took in account the 2 extra parameters. Average amount of books per person is 15, which is a beautiful average, with an average amount of pages of 4,518. I did an extra calculation this week compared to last one. That is, we were in total, for the amount of spaces that we have collectively filled, we were required to read 112,700 pages. And we read an additional superfluous, unnecessary 72,550 pages. So a lot of extra reading that doesn't earn us any points, but good job, guys. Distribution of the prompts more or less nicely even, like with a little bit lower for the red prompts, but I mean that's neglectable. When it comes to the prompts and their popularity, the most popular remains the mood read for prompt number 1. I think that one has been on top for the entire month. And this one, the 7 blue, which I will actually have to check now for a second. The 7 blue, which is also a mood read. We like our mood reads clearly. And And then this one, I guess, the 29 here. So the second orange prompt, which I think is favorite author, right? Uh, or favorite genre, favorite genre. So yeah, we like the indulgent prompts, and that's perfectly fine. We're being kind to ourselves, clearly. And then for the leaderboards, so I added an extra column here, which is the sum of spaces filled. So you will see that the top are all the people who have completed the board. So Paramita remains in the lead. She was temporarily overtaken by Jill. Unfortunately, that was a mistake. And so Jill came in second at this point in time, together with Red Wheeler 721. Then we have Book Terror in a nice fourth position, and Manu the Book Nord in a nice fifth position. And then Nikki Can Read here still hasn't finished the board. So once they finish this final book, I assume, maybe it's multiple books, who knows where they will end up, because they might get a few, like a nice extra bonus from completing the boards. But so yeah, that is the current standings. Let's see how much we can still change that in the remaining few days of this readathon. Let me see where I was. I have to keep looking up the spreadsheet to work out how many prompts I have submitted already. But that is also the reason why I gave you access to at least part of the spreadsheet, so that you can see how many spaces and all that stuff, so that you could work it out to some extent. I'll start Sunday then. Would zombies be considered cannibalism? Mm, I don't know. Personally, I wouldn't count it, but I could stretch. Like, it could be a stretch of it, because they, like, are they still human the moment that they have become zombies? Because it's eating your own species, sort of thing, right? So if a zombie is no longer a human, then it's not really cannibalism anymore for a zombie to eat a human. Because as far as I'm aware, zombies don't eat zombies, right? But I could count it as a stretch of the cannibalism prompts. I'm enjoying the fact that you are delighted at the input so far. I'm bound to be, yes. Yay, I'm not last. I'm below average then, lol. I mean, you're above me if that helps. You are still higher than me in score, but I mean, I did maybe not, because I have just logged the book, of course. I'm just below average for books read. Yeah, I'm still under that as well. I just logged the book, which was my 12th book. Do we get special badges on your Discord for reading redundant pages? I mean, I will definitely have an honorable mention for the person who reads the most extra pages above the average. Nice. Moodread is so flexible. I like that one. I read Binti for the It and was delighted with that pick. That is definitely one that I could also still read, um, but I don't have it in at the moment. Would reads for the win, indeed. Can we have a Martian prompt in the next game? I mean, if I can find a book that I can to read that isn't a Martian or Project Hail Mary, I'll call it how do you call that? First contact with aliens, right? Space operathon. Those peeps are doing amazing. Exactly. Fair to say it has been a successful readathon. Exactly. Can we? Oh. Wait, why are you not seeing me? Ah, yeah, right. This is why. Brains. Zombie cannibalism discuss. Yeah, I mean, zombies never eat one another, right? I won't be suggesting books to you, as I don't think our tastes align on sci-fi. I mean, to be fair, I haven't read much sci-fi, so I think I looked at the different genres, historically speaking, and sci-fi was really low. I don't think it was on. It was on par with something, what, middle grade maybe, which I read like almost nothing of. I think I read more crime than I read those. or maybe extraterrestrial, a little broader than Martian. Yeah, yeah, because Martian, technically speaking, can only come from Mars. So if you come across an alien that comes from some unknown planet, or if you're reading a book in the second world, then that could already not count. And indeed, so extraterrestrial or alien encounters. I'm a bit terrified to hear there's a I'm sorry. But so, time for our final sprint, guys. Good luck, and then let's chat a little bit afterwards. All right, guys, how did you all do? That was the final sprint for tonight. I am close to the halfway point in Chouette, which I'm really enjoying a whole lot. Like it's very much a metaphor, an extended metaphor, and there are definitely times in which you're like, I don't really know what this particular like scene can like what the parallel is in this particular scene, because I know the overall metaphor, but certain scenes just don't seem to fit the metaphor from time to time. So that's interesting to kind of think about, and I don't know whether like that become more clear at the end of it, or whether there are just certain scenes that don't necessarily need to have a one-on-one relation between the original subject matter and what she is metaphorically using to describe or to discuss the theme. Um, Here, I think I was. Doggy walk was shorter than expected. Well, welcome back. Fenris of Flesh has a certain way with phrases. Destruction of movable property, for example. Yeah, it uses a lot of like the industrial terminology that is used in, for example, meat industry or just like any type of industry in general to kind of, commodify things and like not really think about the thing itself anymore, but kind of see it as a product without really thinking about the feelings or the life of the thing that you are commodifying. Really digging this book if you like Holmesian mysteries, weird Jovian space colonies, and sapphic pining. You should check it out. I mean, sapphic pining, definitely. Mystery, Holmes, yeah, not that much. So that's kind of the, yeah, and space colonies, I don't know, because I haven't read much. I finished, feel like I missed some important points. I think for me it would have been better to read it physically, but thank you. It was a great recommendation. Yeah, I read it physically, though I maybe like listened to it while having the physical. That I don't remember. Um, but yeah, I remember it being like a really impactful read for me. And I think part of the impact also increased because I had been kind of hesitant about it because I had read Vegetarian by Han Kang, and the Vegetarian for me was just sort of like, what the hell did I just read type of experience, where at the end I wasn't really sure whether I had enjoyed it, whether I understood it. And so I was kind of thinking, like, yeah, it's going to be that same sort of deal. And then with this one, I was like, no, it's a very different type of book. And so I wasn't expecting to love it as much as I did. Uh, Come on. I underachieved as usual, getting to almost 70 pages of my 100 page per day objective, but I'm back indoors, so when I turn the lights on, I will resume for an hour yet. I mean, for me, in any case, it's also the case that in the weekend I get more done, so maybe on average you will level out with what you get done in the weekends. I did read a chapter or so more. Now we'll let the book put me to sleep in a minute. Nice. About done with the methods chapter. Can't wait to get into individual aspects of parasocial experiences tomorrow. Nice. I'm now halfway through my book, not sure how many pages I read in the last sprint. So, I mean, in this case, definitely I also don't have because, I was listening to it and I didn't really keep an eye on when I started and when I finished. But in total today, it was over 100 pages I saw. But then it's also, of course, counting those pages that are like notes in the book that I didn't actually read. It's raining again. Nice. Oh, kind of feel like making myself like a hot chocolate and going to sit outside on my balcony. Yeah, because I wanted. I have to put like like the garden waste, I guess is what you call it, out. But if it's raining, I have to wait until tomorrow. Which means I have to wake up before 7 to put it outside. And tomorrow I have the day off. But okay. Sitting outside in the dark, and there are lots of bats flying around. Some came quite close. Fun. I hope this is your read outside experience, and that in combination with that book. I find something extremely quotable on every page within 10 Words of the Flesh. It's written really oddly with the he did this, he went there style of writing. Yeah. Space colonies gets me immediately interested. Holmesian mysteries less so, I admit. I heard Jovian from across the room and immediately went back up in the chat. Lol. Okay. I have been tagging my GameNightAthon books in Storygraph so I can do a stats page on this month's selection of books. Lol, Jess, we are paired there. Me too. But yeah, wait. I just want everything in space always. Yeah, I mean, I'm in principle interested in sci-fi, and in principle, it appeals in concept, but for some reason, I'm just never reaching for it. It's always there's always another fantasy that's lying around, and if it's not a fantasy I'm prioritizing, then it will be a translated work or it will be literary fiction. So I just never seem to find the time to kind of dive into sci-fi. My problem now, at the beginning of the year, I didn't think I'll read more than 20 books in a month, and this was number 21, so no room in the book journal. You can start a new book journal for the reads that you have now. Basically the same. I'm doing a sci-fi September now and have absolutely loaded that TBR tag on the story graph with far too many books. Woo! Like little Saturn. And there's a weekend off ahead of me. Yeah, I mean, I would just say just start a new one, doesn't need to be don't need to have like a perfect one journal that encapsulates our entire life, our entire lives, our entire year. That's like the sort of like Instagram thing where everything needs to look perfectly, whereas in reality everything is messy. And so you might as well start a new reading journal, even though it is a weird time to start one. It's like, this is just arbitrary division of time in any case. Even pirates get better in space, as demonstrated by Alistair Reynolds in Revenger. Space pirates. I mean, I've barely read any space books, so of course I don't think I've read Space Pirates, right? Yeah, I have, I think, right? What is that called? The Skyward series. Aren't there space pirates in like Cytonic? Book that I didn't like. If somebody says space operas, I'm like a dog looking for the cat. Where, what? Definitely need to visit my space folder on my Kindle more often. Like, wow, you folder your books? I mean, I only have like 40 books on there, so maybe that's why I don't have them in folders. Space Opera September. Yeah, but September is also Becca's Bookoplathon. So usually I like to keep it quite open so that I can mood read. Plus, I want to do the Booker long list, for which I will still need September, especially if I'm not going to do anything in August. I love Space Opera September most. I'm always lurking to see what people are reading. I enjoyed that one, but he is one of my absolute favorite authors, so even when he does YA, I'm all over it. I need to read Revenger. It's been on my Kindle graveyard for a shameful amount of time. I feared that I was going to diss Alistair Reynolds there when you hovered over the Revenger comments. I have no experience with their work, so I cannot diss it. Revenger is teen girl space pirates, which does make it even better. Does that sound great? She wouldn't dare, lol. She already came for the Martian. We can only handle so much in one life. Is the space opera September that SFF 180 thing? Maybe. Yeah, right. Yeah, because I saw the teaser for it. I mean, actually, since Jess, I know you still need to read it, right? Because I was gonna say if Jess likes it, I shouldn't even try it. But she also still needs to try it, so maybe. Yes, yes. But yeah, I don't actually think I have a lot of space books on my radar. I have like the Becky Chambers one, which I think probably will work quite well for me, like A Long Way to Small Angry Planets. But I don't think that I have like something proper epic sci-fi, I guess. Kermit Arms. Hey, even I like teen girl space pirates. That's how much I like Reynolds. If you read his books, I would be panicking. I need to make a sort of like reading sci-fi to give my subscribers anxiety vlog or something. You are more than welcome. We will have other sprints on Monday, 7 o'clock. Still need to schedule them, but that's when it will be happening, so you already know. Long Way to a Small Planet was too cozy or whatever for me. That didn't work for me. All humans are flawed, Cleo. Night, y'all. Night, y'all, indeed. So, that title alone gave me anxiety. Yeah, that's why I didn't even bother correcting myself this time around. More than welcome. And with this, I'm going to end these sprints. See you guys on Monday. Good luck during the weekend, but also, take some time to enjoy the weekend and like chill a little bit and don't like anxiously push it full with books as I'm going to be doing. But so, yeah, see